Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts with breaking news.
This breaking news from First Alert 6 streaming. Protesters just began a march around Charles Schwab Field in downtown Omaha in response to Tuesday's ice raid. This as thousands are in the area for the first day of the College World Series. Let's get right to First Alert 6's Philip Catafamo. He's live at the protest. Philip?
Aaron, I'm alongside Rosa Lapuente. Rosa, you're one of the organizers of our peaceful protest today. Can you just tell me the message that you'd like to get across?
Yeah, the message is very clear. Let's have a fair immigration process where hardworking families and hardworking people can stay here together and enjoy this beautiful country.
There are a lot of protesters. They are down near, just in front of the CHI right now. We slowed down a little bit, but they're wearing white. Can you tell me the significance of that?
It's important to make sure that we're communicating our message clear and peacefully. That's what the white is doing.
Rosa, just in conclusion, I mean, just you see so many people here. Just tell me, how it impassions you to see so many younger people, older people, everybody of all types of generations embracing something like this. We've got a good crowd. They are down there, but we've got a good crowd today.
Yes, and we thank you, everybody who is supporting the families that have been separated. This is not the way it should be done. This is not the how. The how is always important, not always the result. The how is not the way we should be doing this. So we're here to speak up, protest, and stay united.
The important thing is keeping that protest peaceful.
Yes, sending the message loud and clear, but peacefully.
Rosa, thank you so much for stopping by. It was very nice to talk with you. Aaron, the protest will continue. They are making their way down in front of CHI. They'll be going onto Mike Fahey Street. We will bring more coverage as we continue to cover this protest, and of course bring you the latest as it comes in. Reporting live, back to you, Aaron, in the studio.
All right, Philip, thank you for that update. Now, we know the Omaha Police Department and the mayor were aware of the protest well in advance. We told you about the police department's preparations yesterday. This morning, Mayor John Ewing put out a statement calling for safety and that was the city's priority. He said, in part, quote, "We are thankful for how peacefully protesters in Omaha have handled reaction to the ice raid so far. Acts of violence or vandalism will not be tolerated and, frankly, hurt any message protesters want to give." You can read Mayor Ewing's full statement on our website, firstalert6.com. We are getting breaking new details about where the detainees that sparked tonight's protests are. This video is from the Lincoln County Detention Center. That's in North Platte. Our sister station there says the majority of the detainees were moved to that center last night. They saw two vans pulling up to the Sally port. As of this morning, the detainees were still being processed. Lincoln County Sheriff Jerome Kramer said 63 people are being detained at that facility. At least 8 immigration attorneys have been deployed to provide them with legal counsel. In a statement, Kramer said the goal is to help those eligible correct their work status and, if possible, reunite with family and employers. So here's what led up to the protests. The Justice Department says 76 people were detained during Tuesday's raid at Glen Valley Foods, a meat processing plant. This is video from that raid provided to us by ICE. This all started when an audit by Homeland Security earlier this year. They say they discovered some of the workers were using fake IDs, and then on Tuesday, they found 76 of those people were using stolen Social Security numbers. The Justice Department told us yesterday they had not decided on criminal charges and that the investigation is still ongoing. So let's get back to the march now, happening right now around Charles Schwab Field in response to that ice raid in Omaha. First Alert 6's Ron Johnson is also live at the scene. Ron, what have you been seeing?
Yeah, Aaron, we are actually right in front of the queue at Luminarium. You see that right behind me here. That's where the group of protesters were just moments ago before they started making their way towards the CHI. And I got a chance to hear from some of the organizers behind this protest. And they said that the main focus, one of the main focuses, was making sure that this protest remained peaceful. They really wanted this to be about the message they're sending, about that message of unification, keeping families together, together. They did not want this to be anything that would steer the messaging away from that. Now, we just saw them kind of make their way on the Martin Luther King pedestrian bridge where I'm actually at right now. They made their way closer towards Capitol Street and then, of course, down along 10th Street over to Charles Schwab Stadium. Of course, we'll be getting more reaction from some of those protesters and have some of that content for you on later editions of First Alert 6. But for now, live near the Cumit Luminarium, Ron Johnson, First Alert 6. Aaron?
All right, Ron, thank you for that update. We're going to take a live look out now at that protest happening. You can see those marchers going along the street now along Charles Schwab Field. They're going to continue their march for a little bit, and then they plan to continue their protest through around 8 o'clock tonight as the CWS continues in the background. We're going to keep tabs on the situation, and we'll bring you the latest coming up in our 6:30 p.m. newscast. Now, amid all the protests happening around the country, President Trump is looking ahead to a big celebration and military parade in the nation's capital to honor the Army's 250th birthday. The last time D.C. hosted a military parade was back in 1991 to mark the end of the Gulf War, and there is criticism. NBC's Jay Gray is in Washington, D.C.
Good evening, and final preparations underway for tomorrow's military parade. And this is the route, Constitution Avenue. You can see it is blocked down, has been for several days, and at every intersection here and around the National Mall, packed with security, getting ready for as many as 200,000 visitors tomorrow. They are celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Army. The parade will include 6,600 soldiers, 150 military vehicles, including tanks, 50 aircraft for a flyover, 36 horses, and 2 mules. The Army hopes that this will help to bring more soldiers into the ranks.
I'm hoping that, at the end of the day, the American public is as excited about the Army as I am.
Now, President Trump has faced some pushback to his parade plan, especially when it comes to the cost. It could be as much as $45 million. But there are also protesters saying it just sends the wrong message. There are protests scheduled here in D.C. tomorrow, as well as in all 50 states by a group calling themselves No Kings.
I don't feel like a king. I have to go through hell to get stuff approved.
This is how fascist tyrants and dictators are deposed around the world through the mass nonviolent action of the people, and this is what is needed in this country at this historic turning point.
The FBI monitoring protests both here in D.C. and across the country and say there is no credible threat at this point. They also are quick to point out they will not tolerate any violence here in the nation's capital. This is an all-day event starting with a fitness challenge in the morning, winding up with a concert and fireworks in the evening. That's the latest from here in Washington. I'm Jay Gray, NBC News.
And locally, there is a No Kings rally planned for tomorrow morning in Council Bluffs. Let's take one final live look from our city cam. Protesters gathered and marching around Charles Schwab Field in the wake of this week's ICE raid. Again, we are told that this protest is believed to go until about 8 o'clock tonight. We'll make sure to keep you updated on this story, both on air and online over at firstalert6.com. We'll see you back here live on air for our broadcast at 6:30.